So we're talking November now. My gosh, my gosh. All right, am I missing anything? But she has disappeared. Why did I say it disappeared? Chloe has disappeared. I am bumbling this one big time, so we're gonna try that again. We all know this is not gonna end well. In this addictive YA thriller, yeah. So it says, what could be more restful? Dang, I think I did pretty well. Hi everybody, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse, and welcome to another What's Coming Up in the Month Ahead. New releases. What's coming up in the month ahead. This is so not the name of my videos. Another month of new releases. So we're talking November now, and I can't even get over how fast this year has flown, but a bunch of good books are coming out. So let's take a moment, appreciate what is coming out, and figure out which book we all think I'm going to binge read first. Not that I feel like I've been pretty good with new releases this year. That's a video I should make. All this stuff that I've talked about and how many of them I've read. But there's a whole bunch coming out. I don't know which one I might want to devour first. So let's talk about them and find out. Actually, I do know. Okay, here we go. First up on November 1st, I have The Rewind by One Scotch. So I have talked about her before. I'm such a huge fan of her books. I feel like this is going to be a theme of this one. I'm a huge fan of so many of these authors, but I haven't read one of their books in a while. So I am going to just say this is going to be my way back in with lots of people. So she has written a whole bunch of books that I love. She does great relationship stories, friendships. She does a lot of past and present timelines. It's a lot of, I always find myself either reflecting on the past, really having like a good think about a lot of things, whether it is choices I have made, where I am today, looking back on decisions and how they impacted where my life went, thinking about past relationships, past friendships. Like, it always makes me look back and think about different points in my life, and I just love the reflection that her books give me. So in this one, we have two exes wake up together with wedding bands on their fingers and no idea how they got here. So college sweethearts Frankie and Ezra broke up before graduation and vowed to never speak to each other again. So then we fast forward 10 years later, it's the eve of the new millennium, and they find themselves back on their snowy, picturesque New England campus together for the first time because they are both attending the wedding of a mutual friend of theirs. So it says, Frankie's on the rise as a music manager for the hottest bands of the late 90s, and Ezra's ready to propose to his girlfriend after the wedding. Everything is going according to plan. They just have to avoid the chasm of emotions brought up when they inevitably come face to face. But they wake up in bed next to each other the next morning with Ezra's grandmother's diamond ring on Frankie's finger, and they have zero memory of how they got there or about any of the events that transpired the night before. So now they have to put aside old grievances to figure out what happened, what didn't happen, and to ask themselves the most troubling question of all: what if they both got it wrong the first time around? So I don't know if this book is going to have kind of a fantastical element to it. She has done fantastical in some of her books before, where she had a character in Time of Your Life who wakes up like 10 years in the past, and it very much becomes, if you could do it all over again, knowing what you know now, would you do things differently? So I'm really excited for this one, and I just love the 90s vibes. I am all here for it. I just finished Stargazer by Laurie Petro, which is set in like 94, 95, 96, and I'm just all for those vibes. So I'm very excited about it. I'm very excited for new One Scotch. I will be definitely picking this one up. So the next book is She's Gone by David Bell. So full disclosure, I did not actually have this on my list because I didn't realize it was coming out, and I thought it was already out because I was at my local Barnes & Noble, and I'm kicking myself in hindsight, and I saw it. I was there to buy a gift for somebody, and I was having a modicum of self-control, and I was like, I am here to buy gifts. I will not walk out with anything for myself. I don't need another book. I saw this book. I actually photographed it because I was like, I need to go home and like do some research and see what's up with this book. This is She's Gone by David Bell. Did I already say that? This comes out November 1st, but for some reason it was already out at my Barnes & Noble, and I kind of want to go back and get it because I feel the like insatiable desire to like have it before anybody else does, which is insanity, but it's also me. So in this one, it says, when a girl disappears, who do you suspect? So I read Kill All Your Darlings by David Bell 2 years ago, I want to say now, and very much enjoyed it. That was the first of his books that I had read. He has written a ton. So when I saw his name on this cover, I was instantly intrigued. So in this one, we have when 17-year-old Hunter Gifford wakes up in the hospital on the night of homecoming. He's shocked to learn that he and his girlfriend, Chloe Summers, have been in a terrible car accident. Hunter has no memory of the crash, and his shock turns to horror when he is told that Chloe's blood has been found in the car, but she has disappeared. Why did I say it disappeared? Chloe has disappeared. So back at school, his fellow students taunt him, and his former best friend starts making a true crime documentary about the case, one that points the finger directly at Hunter. Thanks, friend. And just when things can't get any worse, Chloe's mother stands in front of the entire town at a candlelight vigil and accuses Hunter of murder. What a great town, right? Under mounting pressure from the police, Hunter takes matters into his own hands by questioning anyone who might know the truth and posting videos to prove his innocence. When Hunter learns he and Chloe were seen arguing loudly outside the dance, he faces a sickening possibility. Was he angry enough to kill the person he loved? So this is a YA mystery, which I don't know if that's a departure for him, but I'm super intrigued. You guys know I love me some high school stuff all the time. So I love the idea of the true crime documentary. I like the town turning on him. I just love this lost memory. And then also, like, it's not even that we know what happened to Chloe. She's gone. She's absolutely gone, and nobody can connect the dots. So I'm very much here for it. I'm very much intrigued by this. And I'm going to go back to my Barnes & Noble to see if they figured out that they put it out too soon. And if not, then I might just add it to my Amazon wish list and keep an eye on it. So there you go. Next up is The Quarry Girls by Jess Lowry. So this actually was an Amazon First Reads in October. So if you guys are part of that program, you would have already gotten your hands on it like I did. But officially it comes out November 1. So I now officially have 3 of her books, which I haven't read yet, but I did pull out Bloodline because I do want to read it this year. It gets recommended as like very dark and creepy and atmospheric, so 'tis the season. That is my game plan. But we're here for The Quarry Girls. So this is set in Minnesota in 1977, and it says, for the teens of one close-knit community, summer means late-night swimming parties at the quarry, the county fair, and venturing into the tunnels beneath the city. But for 2 best friends, it's not all fun and games. Heather and Brenda have a secret. Something they saw in the dark, something they can't forget. They've decided to never tell a soul, but their vow is tested when their friend disappears, the second girl to vanish in a week, and yet the authorities are reluctant to investigate. Heather is terrified that the missing girls are connected to what she and Brenda stumbled upon that night. Desperately searching for answers on her own, she learns that no one in her community is who they seem to be. Not the police, not the boys she met at the quarry, not even her parents. But she can't stop digging because she knows those girls are in danger. She also knows she's next. So Abby from Crime by the Book hugely, hugely raves and recommends. You guys know I'm a huge Abby fan. I take her word as gospel. I get a lot of recommendations through her. But she's been a huge advocate of Jess Lowry, and I'm just really intrigued by her books and by her stories. And I love these books that are set in the past. And I mentioned this in another recent video. I am binge rereading at this stage, the Patricia Cornwell K. Scarpetta series. The first book starts in 1990, and I have read books 3 through 8 in October. I know, who am I, right? But they are all set in the early mid-90s at this stage of the game. But I am loving being sort of, it just feels like such escapism. So those books were actually written in the 90s. So it was actually what life was. But I love books that are being set in the past and just being in a different timeline and just like being in a simpler world in so many ways, which is not to say it's not a dark and messed up world. But I just love these stories that are set not in the present day. I don't know why. I'm just like having such a great time with them and very much enjoying it. But you know I love secrets, you know I love female friendships, you know I love all of these complications of things, and I need to get myself together and read me a Jess Lowry. So there you go. Next up is Over Her Dead Body by Susan Walter. So this one, I don't even know. I want to say somebody on Instagram had an arc of it, and I was like, what is this book all about? Oh my goodness, it hasn't come out yet. Must add it to the list. So this one is an inheritance that comes with a warning. So mystery thriller, all that kind of good stuff. It says, Ashley Brooks's life isn't working out as planned. After years of struggling to make it in Hollywood, she's still waiting for her big break. When fate leads her to the doorstep of legendary casting director Louisa Lake George, Ashley thinks her luck is about to change. The prickly old pro knows about a role she's perfect for. The aspiring actress never gets to thank her, though, because the day after the audition, Louisa is dead. The bigger shock, she left all her money to Ashley. So a completely similar but different to The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, which I'm obsessed with. So Louisa's grown children arrive and they are completely stunned and wondering why the heck their mom left all of their money to this woman. And meanwhile, Ashley is also trying to figure out why the heck Louisa would leave her fortune to her. So it says Louisa's nephew tries to play peacemaker, and Ashley quickly discovers everyone, including the dead woman, is hiding something, and it's a race to get to the truth before somebody else winds up dead. I totally intrigued. It definitely feels like a little bit Inheritance Games for adults, even though I'm an adult and I read the Inheritance Games, but like with adult characters. So like, you don't need to tell me twice. It just sounds absolutely amazing. I'm totally here for it. And I wish I was smart enough to remember who on Instagram had the arc of it, but whoever it was, thank you very much, because my TBR is growing by the minute. So diving into November 8th, we have Secluded Cabin Sleeps 6, Tongue Twister by Lisa Unger. I haven't read a Lisa Unger book in a couple of years. I feel like since the one about the train, 745. I should know the name of it better. Confessions on the 745, which I very much enjoyed. And I do have a bunch of Lisa Unger books, and I think she is one of the best writers for giving advice. She does great interviews. I have seen her in person and online multiple times with Karen Slaughter. The two of them together are genius. But she gives such great, real, honest writing advice, stories about being a writer, talking about the writer's journey. And she also just strikes me as just such a fun lady that I would love to just hang out with and glean a whole bunch from. But long story short, I need to be reading more of her books. So this one's got all the isolated vibes that I love. So I'm going in. So in this one, we have three couples who rent a luxury cabin in the woods for a weekend getaway to die for in a chilling locked room thriller. So it says, what could be more restful and restorative than a weekend away with family and friends? We all know this is not going to end well. So it's a luxury cabin, spectacular views, there's a hot tub, there's a personal chef, and it says, Hannah's loving and generous tech mogul brother found the listing online. The reviews are stellar. It's his birthday gift to Hannah that includes their spouses and another couple. And they all need a lot of R&R. They need some time away from the pressures of modern life. But then the dreamy weekend turns into a nightmare. So we get a deadly storm. So we get the isolation vibes going on there. And it says the friends have their own complicated past. So we're going to get that secret and lies things going on here. And I don't know what else. So I don't know if it's an and then they're one none thing. I don't know if they're just all tormented as a group. I'm not totally sure. But like I said, I'm a big fan of her as a writer. So you guys know I love everything about an isolated mystery. I love kind of this mixed bag of people who are together. I'm sure secrets and lies are going to come out and who knows what else. But I am all in for Secluded Cabin Sleeps 6. Next up is The Last Party by Claire McIntosh. So I read and loved I Let You Go and Let Me Lie. And I haven't read one of her books since then. But this one is definitely kind of grabbed my attention. So it says, at midnight, one of them is dead. By morning, all of them are suspects. It's a party to end all parties, but not everyone is here to celebrate. So again, isolated thriller and mystery, group of people who are together. I love it. I absolutely love it. So this says, on New Year's Eve, Reese Lloyd has a house full of guests. His vacation homes on Mirror Lake are a success, and he's generously invited the village to drink champagne with their wealthy new neighbors. But by midnight, Reese will be floating dead in the freezing waters of the lake. I'm totally here for it. So it says, in a village with this many secrets, murder is just the beginning. So on New Year's Day, Fionn Morgan, I want to say it is, Ffion, I'm sure I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. She is the DC investigating this case, and it is a small village, it is her community, so all of the suspects are her neighbors, friends, and family. And she has her own secrets to protect as well. Yes. So it says, with a lie uncovered at every turn, soon the question isn't who wanted Reese dead, but who finally killed him. So I am all in. I know she took a little bit of a turn with After the End, which was not as thrillery. I didn't read that. I've heard great things about Hostage. I know Lindsay from Lindsay's Little Library read that and loved it. So I'm a little bit late getting back to the Claire McIntosh party, but this is going to be my way back in. So super excited. So now for November 15th, we have The Twist of a Knife by Anthony Horowitz. This is the 4th book in the Horowitz Hawthorne series that he wrote. So I don't want to read too much about it because I've only read the first book, even though I have the first 3. No judgment. But I'm a really, really big fan of his writing. So I am currently watching Magpie Murders on PBS. I don't know if anybody is watching it. As of the filming of this, only the first episode has come out so far, and it's brilliant. That was such a good book. And the adaptation, which Anthony Horowitz did, is just, it's great the way that they are sort of melding together the stories of the book. But that is a digression. This book has nothing to do with that series other than the fact that Anthony Horowitz is just prolific and absolutely amazing. So in this one, he has a detective, Daniel Hawthorne, who we meet in the first book, who winds up hiring a somewhat fictionalized Anthony Horowitz to write his biography, so to speak, and the two wind up partnering together, and the series continues, of course. So the self-insert that he does of himself, I just think is so brilliant because he obviously takes fact and fiction and brings them together. I feel like he has such great humor, such great wit, really writes some wonderful characters. So I'm excited that he's continuing in this series, and I definitely will be picking it up at some point. I'm going to try and catch up a little bit before I do, but all I know is that there's another book in the series and I'm a huge fan. So if you guys are at that point that you're looking for book number 4, it's out, and it already came out in the UK, I want to say like in August. So we're a little bit behind the curve here in the US, but here it comes. Next up is another book by Lauren Graham of Lorelai Gilmore fame, and it is Have I Told You This Already? Stories I Don't Want to Forget to Remember. So I had given my mom Talking as Fast as I Can is the name of it, her previous nonfiction book that she wrote. And my mom actually gifted it to me when she was doing a little bit of a bookshelf clear out, so I need to read it. But I just love Lauren Graham to bits, and I know I'm not alone in that love of her. So this one is Essays About Life, Love, and Lessons Learned from an Actress in Hollywood. And it says, with her signature sense of humor and down-to-earth storytelling, Lauren Graham opens up about her years working in the entertainment business, from the sublime to the ridiculous, and shares personal stories about everything from family and friendship to the challenges of aging gracefully in Hollywood. So it says it's filled with surprising anecdotes, sage advice, and laugh-out-loud observations. It showcases the winning charm and wit that she's known for. So again, just such a huge fan of hers, and I will listen to anything she has to say, and I just think she's great. So on the list, on the list, on the list. Next up is the second book in a series, and this is Flight Risk by Sherry Priest. So I just read Grave Reservations as part of Series September, which was her first book in what is being called the Booking Agents series. So we had inconsistent psychic Lita Foley. She partnered with Seattle detective Grady Merritt to solve 2 cold cases, pretty much, because she had one that she was looking into, he had one that he was looking into, and they wound up working together, and chaos and wonderfulness ensued. So in this one, the two return and partner up again to solve the case of a missing couple. So it says that Lita is approached by a man searching for his sister, and she quickly agrees to help. The missing woman disappeared with a vintage orange car, a fat sack of her employer's cash, and a grudge against her philandering husband, a man who never even reported her missing. So I'm sorry, I just read ahead and saw the next line and I just needed a minute here. So meanwhile, Seattle PD Detective Grady Merritt has temporarily misplaced his dog, and he is passing out bright pink lost flyers at the Mount Rainier's visitor center when his wayward pooch appears with a human leg in his mouth. Mind you, these are cozy mysteries, so it took me a second. So sure enough, the leg in his dog's mouth appears to be connected to the case that Lita is working on. So here we go. We're just gonna have to see what happens. We're just gonna have to see what happens. So I very much enjoyed these books. They definitely, I talked about it as kind of like cozy with an edge. They remind me of those Hallmark movie and mystery series that they have with, there was the one with, I am not Johnny on the spot today. So the Hallmark movies and mysteries that it reminded me of. So Alison Sweeney has 2 different ones that she did. So Chronicle Mysteries is the one where she was the true crime podcaster, which I very much enjoyed. And she also had the series Hannah Swenson, where she was like Murder, She Baked, I feel like was the first one. But there's Mystery 101, there's the crossword puzzle mysteries, there's the morning show mysteries. So while these definitely are on the lighter side, we still get some murder, which is kind of what Sherry Priest's books remind me of. So again, I very much enjoyed it. I thought they were fun, and I will definitely keep my eye out for the second book in the series. Kicking off November 29th, we have 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. So Holly Jackson is the author of the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, which I absolutely love. I talked about it a lot during series September because I read the prequel, Killjoy, which was great, but I very much enjoyed that series. And this is a new standalone book, and I'm glad that she is going into something new. I really feel like she told the entire story of Pip and her friends in the Good Girls Guide to Murder series, and I'm very excited because I actually wound up getting approved for an ARC from NetKelly for this, so I'm going to be diving into it on the sooner side because I want to read it ahead of time and be able to like do the reviews and all the good stuff. So in this one we have 8 hours, 6 friends, and 5 survive, and it is a road trip that turns deadly. So Red Kenny is on a road trip for spring break with 5 friends. Her best friend, the older brother, his perfect girlfriend, a secret crush, a classmate, and a killer. When their RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere with no cell service, they soon realize this is no accident. They've been trapped by someone out there in the dark, someone who clearly wants one of them dead. So with 8 hours until dawn, the 6 friends must escape or figure out which one of them is the target. But is there a liar among them? Buried secrets will be forced to light, and tensions inside the RV will reach deadly levels. Not all of them will survive the night. Riley Sager. Survive the night. So I have not read any early reviews or anything on this. I don't want to be spoiled for anything, but I'm just a really huge fan of her writing. I don't know what mixed media might be incorporated in this, if any. I just thought the Good Girl series was just so clever, so well done, so well written. I really enjoyed the mystery of it. Holistically, I enjoyed the messages of it. It very much was one of those books that had resolution at the end of each book, but doors were open, but there's connections throughout all of them. And I think as a whole, it tells a really powerful, important story. And what I also very much enjoyed about her writing is the way you see the events of the different books and the events of the different story impact the characters and how it affects all of them. So I feel like she just has a really good pulse on people's emotions, about how you are affected by what goes on around you, taking things in, mental health. I just think she does a really smart, like just really brilliant job of her writing and her characters and the emotions of them. And I'm just, like I said, super interested to see what she does next. So stay tuned because I will be reading this one soon. I feel like this is the month that keeps on giving. Kimberly Bell has a new book coming out called The Personal Assistant. So I am a big fan of Kimberly Bell. I've read a bunch of her books. I very much enjoy her. And this one is pitched as a deeply addictive thriller exploring the dark side of the digital world when a mommy blogger's assistant goes missing. So in this one, we are following a woman named Alex, and it says when she began posting unscripted family moments and motivational messages online, she had no intention of becoming an influencer. But overnight, it seems that she amassed a huge following and her hobby became her full-time job, one that was impossible to manage without her sharp-as-a-tack personal assistant, AC. But all the goodwill of her followers turns toxic when one controversial post goes viral in the worst possible way. Alex reaches out to AC for damage control, but her assistant has gone silent. The young woman Alex trusted with all of her secrets, who has access to her personal information and front row seats to the pressure points in her marriage and family life, is now missing, and the police are looking to Alex and her husband for answers. As Alex digs into AC's identity, and a woman is found murdered, she'll find the greatest threat isn't online but in her own living room. So we get multiple POVs in this one. It is a juicy cat and mouse story. We'll keep you guessing till the very end. Bring it on. Bring it on. Big fan of Kimberly Bell. I already said that, but I'll say it again because it's true. So I will definitely have my eye out for this one. I love these influencer ones too, and people, I feel like that must be such a thing for so many people, like not being able to trust people who come into your life, and then these people know everything about you, celebrities, personal assistants, and then going missing. Makes for a great story. Makes for a great story. So that's going to do it for what's coming out in November that I am excited about. I am sure I missed a bunch every single month. As soon as the new month starts and I'm like in a bookstore, I'm like, oh my gosh, I missed all of these books. So let me know what I missed. Let me know what you're most excited about. Let me know what you're going to read first if you are someone who's going to pick up some new releases. I'm definitely going to read Five Survive first because I have the arc of it and I'm psyched for it. And then after that, I don't know, there's so many I'm totally intrigued by. But talking fast because I just am. So until the next video, I'm gonna go. I will see you guys in that video. Thanks for being here, hanging out, doing all the things, liking, subscribing, commenting, being a part of my community. And just a reminder, just in case anybody needs it, Booktrovert Bingo is going strong. So hopefully you guys are doing it. Hopefully you guys are having some fun with it. I am my own worst enemy. I need to update my board and post it. So I'm gonna get on that, which has nothing to do with this video. All right, I'm gonna go, you guys. Talk to you later. Bye.